We're here today with Erin and Shanice speaking about the importance of risk cover. So the long-term insurance industry can be a minefield between providers, salespeople, different kinds of terminology. It can be quite overwhelming. So how does long-term insurance play a role in your portfolio, and how much cover should you have?
No, long-term insurance actually can play a very crucial role in your cover. How much you should have is a very different question. So what you've got to start with is, why are you implementing this cover? Maybe we should chat about life cover because that's a good place to start. So when understanding how much life cover you need, you really need to look at what are you implementing this cover for. Is it to cover last expenses? Are you needing cover for your financial dependents or for your spouse? And that will help you determine how much cover is needed. Got to bear in mind that life cover or insurance cover in general gets more expensive the longer you have it. So really what we try and do is ensure that you have the right amount of cover in place, and then as you no longer need the cover, as your children become independent and essentially come off your payroll or your debts are settled, that you start trimming back on this cover, that you don't keep it all in place. So life cover plays a very important role, particularly for unplanned events, but at some point, you've got to start trimming back as well.
These kinds of calculations to see how much you need that's something that a financial planner can assist you with. So I think what I'm hearing here is the importance of crunching the numbers and understanding what you need to achieve in the event of your death.
And reviewing it regularly. You need to ensure that the products that you're implementing remain appropriate, because when you start your journey, let's say in your 20s, you might be young, you don't have children, you don't really need life covers. You might not have a lot that you've implemented, but by the time you're in your 30s or your 40s, you've got children, you've got debt that you're wanting to settle, you need a whole lot more life cover. And then as you start entering into your retirement years, debt has fallen away, your children have grown up, so your financial advisor can just help you reassess and reevaluate how much life cover you have, what is appropriate, and the appropriate products to implement for it.
What about a disability? How can you cover yourself in the event of a disability?
So disability is probably one of your most important covers and understated, because your ability to continue earning an income should never be underestimated. So disability cover is very important. There are essentially two types of disability cover. The one is income protection, which will pay you a monthly benefit, and the other one is a capital lump sum. When we meet with our clients, we're assuming that they're working because they need to work and they need to save for retirement. So it is essential that you have cover in place to provide for the event that you're unable to continue working and providing an income until your retirement years.
Is there any other kind of insurance that you should have in place that should tick another box?
Two that we haven't really mentioned would be medical aid, so that deals with your monthly expenses, and the other one would be critical illness. So critical illness deals with if you're diagnosed with cancer or heart attack, and it works really nicely with or in conjunction with a medical aid and disability cover.
Yes, and I think it can be quite confusing because some people call it critical illness, some call it dread disease cover, some use medical aid instead. I think it's important to understand what you have in place and if it really serves you.
Absolutely, and they work so differently. So a medical aid has to cover your medical costs in hospital, whereas a critical illness benefit, for example, will pay out a defined amount. So just unpacking that and understanding that is really important.
Thank you, Erin. Yeah, I think it can be quite confusing. Some people refer to it as critical illness, some call it dread disease, some people use their insurance, medical aid to cover these kinds of costs. So it's important to understand what you're paying for and if you actually need it and it's meeting your goals and objectives.
Absolutely, and I think this is where a financial advisor can really help you understand the intricacies of these different products.